Joining me now to talk more about all of this is Dr. Isaac Bogoch, infectious disease specialist. Dr. Bogoch, a step in the right direction by the province?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. We have to ensure that long-term care is secure. We saw horrendous outbreaks during wave 1 and wave 2. Those outbreaks were largely quelled and extraordinary. There was crickets. It was totally quiet during wave 3, largely because of the massive vaccine efforts that were undertaken before that wave. Having said that, now we have a variant that can chip away at the protective immunity of the vaccines. That sector is at risk again, and these are steps to at least help protect that sector, which is so very much needed.
When it comes to boosters, though, people 18 and over, so below 50 in essence, have to wait till January. Do you see that changing? Should it change?
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to see it change from coast to coast. I can't imagine how people would continue on the current course, knowing what we know now about Omicron and that there is such a protective benefit of 3 doses versus 2. 2 doses helps, but 3 doses really appears to provide much more significant protection. We have the vaccines, we have the capability of administering them, and we have the willing arms. That's like the hat trick of vaccination. Let's get on with it and get those needles in arms.
We heard Dr. Moore say every case moving forward should be considered Omicron. What does he mean by that? What are we to take from that?
Well, it's fair to say that this is sweeping through Ontario at this point in time. I mean, as of 2 days ago, it represented about 20% of all positive cases, whereas 2 weeks before that, it was close to 0% of all positive cases. And by probably tomorrow or Friday, it'll be the dominant variant. So it's pretty important that we recognize that this is here. It's rapidly expanding. It will rapidly expand in other Canadian settings, and it is different than Delta. It's important to recognize that, yes, they're both COVID infections, but Omicron really does chip away at protective immunity much more than Delta, and people who have had 1 dose, 2 doses, and even 3 doses of the vaccine don't have the same degree of protection if it's an Omicron infection versus Delta. I think it would be unusual for people to get severely ill with 2 or 3 doses of a vaccine. But if we were to compare Omicron to Delta, you're probably going to see more of that with the Omicron variant than with the Delta variant. That's why the 3rd dose is so important. I think the other important thing is, yeah, we still don't have all the information. We still know that the vast majority of people should get a 3rd dose at some point. Let's say we're totally wrong about this. Let's say Omicron is mild. I don't think that's going to be the case, but let's say it is. Well, then you've mobilized vaccines to people that would have received the vaccines, and you've done so in the month of December and early January, than in January and February.
Right. So the moral of the story here is to err on the side of caution and to recognize that we still have tools at our disposal, Dr. Bogoch, that are not just the vaccines, but all the other things we've learned over these last 2 years.
100%. We have tools that we can use to help blunt the impact of this wave. Vaccines are extremely important, but as you point out, it's not the only tool. I think we could really take a chapter out of the Nova Scotia playbook. They just deployed 400,000 rapid tests to their population, and they'll probably deploy a lot more when they get access to them. So they're enabling their citizens to take protective measures for themselves, to really address some questions about, am I contagious to other people? Should I be going to this perhaps family gathering for Christmas? Like, these are tools that we know can help. They're not perfect. No one tool is going to solve the problem. There's no silver bullets, but when you add them up, rapid testing, ventilation, high quality masking, vaccination, you can create much safer indoor environments. And we're not going to stop this wave, but at least we can blunt the impact of this wave.
Dr. Isaac Bogoch, infectious disease specialist, always good to have you. Thanks so much.